You're very welcome to the programme. Well, this morning, the biggest agricultural event in Europe is kicking off in County Laois, and we're going to be live at the National Ploughing Championships.
Hi Keelan, yes, throughout the programme, George and myself will be finding out what's on offer over the next 3 days for the 200,000 plus people who are expected to come here. George will meet the family who own the land here in Rathneska, and I'll meet the world ploughing champion Eamon Tracy from County Carlow. We'll also have the latest weather and traffic updates.
Keelan, welcome to the 83rd National Ploughing Championships, which are here in Rathneska in County Laois, the same place it was in last year, which was a huge success, and there are expectations that it'll be an even bigger success this year. It's 20% bigger, there are more trade stands, there's more acres to be covered, and hopefully there'll be more people. There's plenty of school bus tours on their way here, and people coming here from all over the country. The weather's pretty grey at the moment, but it's clearing up, and later on in about an hour and a half we'll have Michael D. Higgins here to formally launch the event. Now, there's a bit here for everybody, really. You wouldn't have enough time in 3 days to go around and see the entire amount which is here. It's about much more than just ploughing, much more than just animals, much more than just machines. Every aspect of Irish life is covered. Every political party is here. Every media organisation is here. Nearly every business you can conceive of is here. And the whole agri-food sector is here. So there are great expectations, and it's a huge celebration of the potential in the economy. And just to talk about exactly what is behind this scene here, I'm joined also here by Anna-Marie McHugh, who is the Assistant Managing Director of the National Ploughing Championships. Anna-Marie, a huge amount of work has gone in to presenting this and preparing it. Have you been at it all year?
It is. It's all year and longer, George, from the time that you identified the site for the event. But look, we have a fantastic team. I suppose we're the biggest team of volunteers nationwide involved in the organisation, and it really, everybody pulls it together. And I think everybody that has some part to play in the event feels a part of it and feels an ownership of it, and that's what makes it as special as it is.
Now, the ploughing is the centre of it, really, at the end of the day. How important is the ploughing?
Massively. If you ask any competitor, and there's over 350 here over the 3 days, they would tell you the exhibition is the sideshow. And they would be honest in saying that, because it's about them qualifying from their counties to their national final and making the whole way then to the world contest. We have a European contest on here today. We have 9 countries from around Europe, and we have 2 world champions here that won their titles two weeks ago, and now they plough again to try and qualify for the world next year in Denmark. So for them it's very much about ploughing. They liked it being a little bit wet this morning because it's after softening the ground that little bit, but everybody else is happy enough that the rain has gone away.
And 3 days, you'll be exhausted by the end of the 3 days yourself, no doubt, keeping the whole show on the road.
Yeah, but look, you live on adrenaline at the moment, and the people keep you going, and everybody getting in together and making it happen, and obviously the public coming out in their thousands. This is Rural Week in Ireland, and that's what it's about, and we're absolutely honoured to be able to put the event together.
Well, putting the event together, of course, Keelan, you couldn't do that without somebody who has the land, and I'm joined now by a member of the family who owns the land here in Rathneska. I'm joined by Clive Carter. Clive, I bet you never thought you'd see your land looking like this. It doesn't look remotely like a farm at the moment.
Morning, George. No, not at all. This morning when you wake up and you look outside and you see all the crowds, it's just surreal. We've been building for this since the 1st of August, and basically a year in the building for this one. But it is incredible to see the crowds here this morning, and you just look back when it's all finished and you see a clear sight and it's back, and you just think the difference is remarkable.
And what do you usually farm here on this land?
Tillage, crops. We're mainly tillage, barley, wheat and all that.
Now, last year you weren't able to do it because this was the location last year for the Ploughing Championship, and this year you aren't able to do it. Are you having a break, or what do you do it yourself?
Well, no, I wouldn't say a break. It's just a different type of farming here. This is technically our harvest, I suppose, so to speak, but it's a different type of farming, but certainly not a break anyway.
And now this will be probably your last year as a location for the ploughing. So how are you going to get the farm back to normal?
There'll be a lot of pressure to get everyone out as quick as possible while the weather's fine. Like, the last few weeks have been very fine, and we have been blessed with the weather. So hopefully we'll get another week or two, and we'll have it back to normal.
Well, the very best of luck in getting it back to normal, of course, and there is an awful lot of work in that. But work and business is really what this whole ploughing championship is about. As I said, every agri-business sector in the country is represented here, and an awful lot of the businesses. And I'm joined now by a man who has a big vested interest in seeing what kind of business the farmers are going to do. Is Sean Farrell, and Sean Farrell is head of agri-lending at Bank of Ireland, who are very eager to do a bit of business here with the farmers. Sean, it's a very important couple of days for you.
It certainly is, George. We're delighted to be here at the site of the Ploughing Championships again. It's hugely important for us to be here. This is the event to attend if you're a bank that wants to do business with the agricultural sector. And we're looking forward to meeting all our customers over the next few days.
Have you got money to lend?
Oh, we certainly do. And we've seen an increase in demand for lending from the our farming customers over the first half of this year. So we certainly do have the money to lend, and we have an appetite to lend it as well.
Well, now this year particularly, people have seen and they've noticed that farmers don't appear to be doing well, particularly in the dairy sector or in the beef sector. Protests all over the country, complaints over prices being quite low, worries about the profitability. Now, as a bank, is that something which you begin to kind of worry about, because you're trying to encourage them, but you know that some of them are having tough times?
Yeah, and I think there's a responsibility in us that we support our customers through the ups and downs of farming. And we've seen over the last number of years that farming has increasingly become a business of ups and downs in terms of cash flows and profitability, and that one year may be better than the other from a profitability point of view. From the bank's perspective, we're not going to get carried away by one very good year or get overly concerned with our customers' profitability because of one perhaps challenging year. So it's our job to support during the tough times, and also to help fund our customers when they want to invest in their businesses as well.
Well, I'm sure there will be very many of them glad to hear that. The dairy sector is the big attraction for you. That's where the money is going to be, isn't it?
Well, it's the big attraction, but it's where we see the demand coming from. And whether it be for the purchase of land, and we've seen a significant increase in land purchase applications this year, or for farm investment from the dairy sector, we are seeing more inquiries in farm investment from dairying. And we anticipate that will grow as quotas are abolished next year.
Well, Sean Farrell, thank you very much, and I'm sure a lot of farmers will be very interested to hear the yes coming from the bank on this occasion. And that's more or less it now from me here, Keelan, at the National Ploughing Championships. It's going to be a very interesting day. As I said, Michael D. Higgins is going to open the event in about an hour and a half or 2 hours' time. Every political party is trying to get in on the act in terms of meeting the people which are here. And we're going to be here over the next couple of days down in Ratheniska, and it'll be very interesting to see how the weather holds out, how the humours hold up, and what kind of business is done.
You're very welcome back to the programme. Well, we're going back now to Ratheniska, where our business reporter Conor Brophy is joining us. Conor.
Thanks very much, Keelan. And one of the big interests here in terms of the Irish companies that are at the Ploughing Championships is technology, and how technology can be integrated with what's happening on farm, both to improve productivity and to improve the information that farmers are getting. One of the companies that's really involved in that regard is Keenan Systems. John McCurdy is here from that company. John, tell us what you're doing on farm.
Well, what we're doing is we're implementing a nutrition system on farm using the machines that we have around the world. But what we've done that's different now is we've linked those machines through the cloud back to a nutrition centre in Kilkenny. We analyse all that data, and then a nutritionist interprets that, talks directly to the farmer, make any changes we need on the machine, and send it back through the cloud and help drive the performance and drive the improvement on farm using that technology.
So you're managing animal diets for farmers really across the globe now?
Absolutely, and trying to make it as easy to use as possible and give the farmers the support they need to use the new technologies that are coming out there as well.
Probably a lot of people who could do with similar management. You have no plans to move into the human sphere, no?
I kind of look at myself every now and again thinking about that type of thing, but we'll see what's next on that front.
Ed Harty from Dairy Master is also here. Ed, I suppose you're looking at a very, very big year ahead, because we'll see the quotas being lifted in 2015. Dairy farming, as we know, people are gearing up for a big takeoff in terms of production. That'll do a lot for your business, I imagine.
Yeah, we think so. Like, so far this year has been an exceptionally busy year. From what's in the pipeline, we expect next year to be extremely busy. But a lot of the new technologies we're looking at are really about focusing around how can a person deal with milking larger numbers of cows more efficiently, improve profitability at farm level, and make life easier at the same time.
You authored a great quote last night at an event, you believe. You said that Ireland could be the Silicon Valley for cows, and you're actually pioneering wearable technology for cows. I think you have the equivalent of Apple's iWatch for cattle.
There we go, yeah. We've this device here called the Moo Monitor Plus. It's a necklace for cows. It monitors the cow's health and fertility. So, like if you look at on dairy farms, the most important thing a cow has to do in the year is to have a calf. That starts the milk production process. In order for that to happen, you have to breed the cow at the right time. So it identifies when is that right time, but then it also monitors all the other critical things a cow does, like feeding, like resting, like ruminating, in other words chewing the cud, and looks at this from the point of view of the cow's health, because if you have a change in these things, it's generally associated with a cow being sick, in very much the same way as a human would lie down if you're feeling a bit sick, or you might stop eating and so on. And again, all this type of technology is going into the cloud, is available on your phone for when you're out and about, and to tell you the information you need to know when you need to know it.
So it seems like from talking to both John and yourself, the cloud storing data on servers effectively and how you link into that with mobile is going to be a big part of dairying going forward.
Absolutely. Well, it allows you to do a completely different level of data analytics. So, for example, with this product, we're recording about 210,000 data points on each cow's behaviour every year, and the power of that is immense, you know.
Well, I mentioned the quotas lifting, and obviously that's going to require a huge amount of energy, or it's going to see an awful lot more on-farm production. One of the companies that's hoping to benefit and hoping to reduce some of that energy consumption is Let's Talk Solar. James Gorham, you're looking at solar power and how it can reduce the energy that's being used on farms.
Absolutely. With the lifting of milk quotas, Conor, as you've just said there will be a large requirement for energy to heat water on the farm, and our product is ideally placed to look after that in relation to saving farmers in excess of 70% of their heating costs for water. They fit comfortably with any system that you have in place, and indeed we can design a new system for the farmer if he requires it.
Probably not the best time to be talking about solar power. It's a very cloudy and has been quite a rainy day here in Ratheniska, but that doesn't really matter in terms of solar power if I'm not mistaken, does it?
Not with the panel that we use. No, the panel we use is a certified daylight only collector and has been designed to work off clouds-based light, so therefore it will work in the winter time the same as the summer.
In terms of the sort of demand for the product that you're looking at, is it primarily Ireland, or are you going to be looking at expanding overseas as well?
No, we're looking at expanding overseas in the latter half of 2016. We're currently working with Enterprise Ireland in relation to the groundworks on that at the moment. But our core focus currently is working in the Irish marketplace and solidifying our product and our business here.
A big part of managing the environmental impact of this huge increase that we're expecting to see in production over the next couple of years is going to be the carbon footprint, and you're going to be helping in that regard too.
Absolutely. For every 1,000 litres of oil that a person burns, they create 2.5 tonnes of carbon. We will be reducing that by over 70%, so we find that that's going to be a major help in the carbon reduction fight.
And you have a residential aspect to it's not just for businesses?
No, it's not just for business. Our core business would be the residential aspect of it, where we heat homes constantly over the winter, and we reduce bills again there by over 70% with our product as well.
James Gorham, thanks very much. Well, that's solar power. Let's hope we see some solar power down here soon. We're expecting the sun to break through the clouds. Fingers crossed in the meantime. Back to you, Keelan.
You're very welcome back to the programme. Well, we will have advice on how to save money on your energy bills shortly. But first, to the biggest agricultural event in Europe, and Aisling is standing by for us.
Now, Keelan, there's lots to do over the next 3 days. There's cooking demonstrations in the Irish Farmers Journal tent, and we have livestock over here to my left. And obviously, the main reason why everyone's here is the ploughing. And one man who knows all about ploughing is Eamon Tracy from County Carlow. You're the world ploughing champion. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
So this was all happened in France 2 weeks ago. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, the World Championships were in France, down near Bordeaux. To qualify, I was the national champion last year here in Ratheniska, so qualified to go on to the World Championships. And the World Championships then is a 2-day event. First day is in stubbles and the second day in grass. And soil in France was very different to what we have here in Ireland. Sand, it's a very black sand. But the only thing is, it's very dry out there, but they were irrigating the soil, which made it a lot easier to plough. And when you got set up on it, it was beautiful soil to plough, but the trouble was to get set up. But thankfully things went well, and over the 2 days done 2 very good jobs and became the overall champion. Yeah.
Now you're competing over the next few daars. What makes a good plougher?
There's a good few different things. I suppose number one is patience. You need patience. It's to look ahead. Like you are under the time, but you just can't panic. You have to kind of control your speed, control everything, and you need a good eye. You have to have the eye, and I suppose the most important thing is to adapt on the day. To know, like, you can do all the practice in the world, and you can have all the settings in the world, every measurement written down, but once you drop that plough in the ground, something is always different, and you have to adapt on the day and go with the conditions. So that's it.
Okay, well, best of luck, and thanks a million for speaking to me.
Thank
so that's
you.
Eamon there. Now, obviously, people are coming from all parts of the country, and joining me now is Superintendent Joe Prendergast.
Good morning.
Good morning. So traffic, it's not too bad. Tell me a bit about it.
This is the first morning, and as we expected, traffic is extremely heavy on all the routes this morning. Because of the wet conditions, there's been light rain early this morning. Traffic going into the car parks has slowed down a little, but the traffic is moving, the plan is working, and I'd ask people just to have a little patience and they'll get there.
There are several different routes.
There are several different routes. There's 6 separate routes. They're all colour coded and they're available. You can view them on the websites, the Garda website or the National Ploughing Association website, or indeed on most of the daily papers, and indeed the farming papers in particular. It gives a very good informative article on the different routes available.
Now, I was told that last year every second question from people was, where did I park my car? So what advice would you give to motorists?
Yes, there are 6 separate car parks, and they're all colour coded. We have the green car park, the blue car park, etc. So I'd ask people just to take a note of the colour code of their car park before they leave, because you'd be amazed how many people forget, and in the large crowd in the evening time they can be a little bit disorientated in relation to where their car is. Now, to help them out, the National Ploughing Association have large helium balloons over each of the car parks. So if you have a look in the distance, you'll see the green balloon or the blue balloon, and that will be the direction of your car.
Okay, great. So people should be patient and allow themselves plenty of time to get here.
That's it, exactly. And just another thing I'd remind people, in particular for tomorrow and Thursday, there are also trains available both to Portlaoise and Portarlington, and there's a bus shuttle service available which will take about 15 to 20 minutes and will get them right up to the site. So that's just another option to consider for tomorrow and Thursday.
That's great, thank you very much. Okay, so yesterday the weather was glorious, and then lots of people were saying to me, do we need to bring our wellies? Well, one woman that can be telling me is Nuala Carey. Nuala, what's the weather like for the next few days?
It's all good news. So we had a little bit of rain this morning, but that's as much as we're going to see. And actually things will brighten up now for the afternoon. That's why I have the sunglasses on. And dry again for tomorrow and on Thursday. And actually Thursday should feel quite mild.
So it's good news, because we were all getting a bit worried here this morning.
No need to worry. But I always think you should bring your wellies to the ploughing anyway. It's kind of part of the atmosphere. So just pack them anyway, but you may not need them.
Now, there's the big RT tent behind you. People can go in and try their hand at being a weather presenter.
They can, of course. You'll find us at Block 1, Row 24, Stand 344. And we run something called Weather Wannabes. So each afternoon, people of any age, and we've had people from 5 up to 95, come in and try their hand at a little bit of weather presenting. So that's open to everybody. And also each day we've 2 live weather forecasts. The first one just before 1 on RT1, so I'll be doing that later today, and the next one just before 3 o'clock. So we always like an audience and a bit of a crowd to cheer us on, so everybody's more than welcome to call in for that as well.
Now, there's a lot of people that love you around here. Tell me about one farmer who does something special for you every year.
Now that we've said that, it probably won't happen. But there is a lovely farmer from Wexford who brings me a bunch of flowers every year, which is very kind of him, and he just does it as a thank you for giving him fine weather all year round.
Oh, very nice. Okay, well, thank you very much. And as you can see, there's lots of people around. I think there's a gang here from Kilkenny. So what time did you leave this morning at?
We left at 8:10. We're here from Castlecomer Community School in County Kilkenny. We have a group of transition years here today. Just take it in the atmosphere, enjoy the animals, and the girls will fill you in now.
So what are you planning to do today?
After crack, I suppose. But we're going around looking for enterprise ideas and beachy young scientists as well. Yeah.
So you're thinking caps on.
Yeah.
And there's Marys and everything, isn't there? So you can, you might go up on a roller coaster or something.
Well, yeah.
No. Okay, well, enjoy your day, and thanks a million for that. So there you have it, lots of things happening here. If you join us tomorrow, myself and George will have lots more from County Laois. Back to you in studio, Keelan.
You are very welcome to the programme. Well, today we're going to have lots more from Europe's biggest agricultural show.
Hi Keelan, it is the second day of the ploughing and the weather is looking really good, so it should be a bumper one. And throughout the programme we'll be looking at lots of the stuff going on. Aisling Reardon is going to go off on her High Nelly bike to see whether or not she can discover the secrets of brown bread making and to have a bit of crack and ceol. And of course I'll be here doing a little bit more serious stuff, trying to revive the Irish sugar industry, looking at alternative incomes for family farms and also looking at some of the challenges ahead for some of the farmers who are currently in business.
Well, those are the headlines. We're going to go over now to our agriculture and environment correspondent George Lee, who is at the Ploughing Championships. George.
Here it is.
Well, Keelan, as I was saying earlier, it is a beautiful day here, so things are looking up, the crowds are coming in. The traffic was actually a little bit easier this morning, so hopefully it's going to be a wonderful day. Now, there are so many farm families here having a look at what is on display. It is the year of the farm family, and a lot of them have been having a pretty tough time. When you look through the figures, about a third of farm families are not viable, according to research done by Chagas. About a third are sustainable, which means that they've got off-farm income, and about a third are okay on their own. So everybody's looking for new income, and I've got a couple of people here who I'm going to meet this morning who know an awful lot about trying to do more in relation to income for farms. The first person I'm going to meet is Pat Cleary. Pat Cleary, Sugar Beet Ireland is your organisation. Yes. People in Ireland would have thought the sugar beet industry was dead. Are you trying to revive it?
Yes, as everybody's aware, we lost the industry in 2005, and the EU in their wisdom now have decided to abolish quotas in 2017, mainly because of the deficit of good quality sugar in Europe since that time. So the reform package that they had at the time failed. So Beet Ireland are the people behind the restoration of the industry in Ireland.
And how are you going to do that? You're doing it from scratch?
Well, we've been engaging with growers since 2011, and as a former beet farmer myself, the group involved in it have a lot of broad range of experience, from farming to food processing to the agri-trade. So we know what people want on the ground, and we're in continuous consultation with growers.
But Pat, have you got the money? Because if you're going to set up an industry like this, you need money.
Well, it's a challenge, and we have done a huge amount of behind-the-scenes planning and on all elements of it. And yes, it's a 400 million investment. It is a huge investment, but we want, in our model, to have farmers at the core of that. And one of the areas that we're dealing with is asking growers to make some commitment to the industry themselves, and we have targeted 30% of the total investment.
Okay, well, so Pat, you're convinced it will work?
Absolutely. The response we're getting from arable farmers here this week in particular, I mean, I'm a tillage farmer. We lost money growing grain this year, and the beef people are in dire trouble as well. But there is sugar beet is not something new. It's a sustainable crop. For us, we know how to grow it. It was the most profitable crop in arable farming, and it will be again.
Okay.
And George, one of the very important and exciting things about it is the new agronomy. The new trials that we're doing, they'll work.
Okay. All right, yeah. Pat. Well, people will watch out for that and be very, very happy. But apart from the sugar beet industry, of course, farm families are looking for a lot of new income. And one person here who advises them on alternative incomes is Loretto O'Driscoll from Chagas. Loretto, what kind of stuff are you saying that farmers can do?
Well, this year we have a Chagas Options Plus programme running at our centres throughout the country. And it's an idea generation programme. Farmers have lots of skills and competencies, and you spoke about some of their incomes being unviable, and this is an opportunity for them to come into our courses and to take part. We have 5 different...
What kind of stuff are you telling them they can do?
Well, we are asking them to look at their own skills and competencies in their own area, and then we're asking them to look at tourism, what resources are in their own locality, what other businesses they might be able to link into. It can be. We have a booklet produced on 101 ideas for farmers, and I mean, rather than mentioning one, I think they'd be better. It's better to look at.
I heard one of the ideas was snails.
Correct, and why not? Isn't it a very good idea? We have people who are travelling abroad all of the time now and come back, and they're very willing and likely to try out some of the snails and other ideas. And there's goats, and look beside me here, we have in Tipperary the
Tipperary Kitchen. This here is Anne-Marie Wadge, Tipperary Kitchen. You're a farm family, Anne-Marie, and this is the stuff you're now doing to make extra income.
Yes, we're a family business, and we're based in the rich agricultural land of Holy Cross Village, and we diversified into the Tipperary Kitchen. We're using resources from around us. We're using Tipperary butter and Thurles fresh cream in all our products. We're using Irish free-range eggs, and if we had Irish sugar, we've definitely used that too. And the thing is not to be afraid. Do what you love doing. Focus on your goal. Work really, really hard, and you will get there, and you will be successful when you're producing fantastic goods.
Like a trooper, said like a trooper there, Anne-Marie. And of course, it's not all about alternative income. Lorcan McCabe, a dairy farmer from Ballyborough, and with the ICMSA, you're really advising people in relation to the nitty-gritty of farming, how to make it work. Lots of opportunities ahead, but it's not as easy as it seems, is it?
No, it's definitely not, George. You know, with the abolition of quotas from next year, you know, people think that it's just free for all, milk is white gold. You know, it's not just that simple. Finances has to be watched. You know, banks are lending out money, young farmers getting in. What we see here is we have quotas 32 years now at this stage. And you're talking about development in industry that should have been developed over 30 years, going to be done in 1 or 2 years, putting huge strains on people that has borrowed money to do so. So, a word of caution, milk in the long term is good, but the volatility now with milk prices up and down tremendously on world market, that's where we are now. People has to be careful, watch farm costs, borrowing, be careful. You know that the volatility is there. We have talked to the Minister about different tax regimes to help out on the volatility of it, and we're hoping in the budget with the tax review he will give us some concessions on that. It's just it's not white gold. There is a living, very hard. Cost has to be watched. That's our advice.
OK, well, Lorca McCabe, thank you very much. And thank you to all of our guests here this morning. And Keelan, that is kind of one of the big issues for farm families is how difficult it is. They are in business. It's all about their own efforts. It's all about entrepreneurial spirit. And whether it is from the person out in the field or the person in the kitchen, or whether it's even at times the children who help on the farm, they get great ideas, great inspiration, and we all learn from that. It gives the whole economy a lift when people like these get up and try and make a living and make an enterprise.
It's time to go back to Ratheniska, where our reporter Aisling is standing by. Aisling.
Hi Keelan. Now, one of the main events that is back after 23 years is the brown bread baking competition. And joining me now is Eileen Brennan, who is a judge, and you won the competition back in 1973.
1973, that is right. And I'm here outside the Aldi stand here, where the finals and semi-finals and finals is on. The final is on tomorrow, with another 4 people baking again today. And 2 out of that will be picked today to go forward into the final tomorrow at the Aldi stand at the National Ploughing Championship.
So they'll find it. And how many entries did you have? Was there much interest?
We had 37 entries at the finals of the counties, which was held on the 27th of June in Termafeckin in County Louth. And out of that then we have the 8 finals to come here to bake. 4 upon each day and 2 picked from each day to go forward into the semi-finals and into the finals, which has been held on Thursday.
And there are rules and regulations to make the brown bread.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about that.
It is 12 ounces of wheat meal and 4 ounces of white flour. Now they can put in egg, honey, butter, bread soda, and have to use buttermilk as well for a raising agent to make the brown bread.
Why such a long gap? 23 years.
They hadn't come up with a sponsor until Aldi came up with a sponsor this year, and they negotiated that, and it is marvellous to think, as I would say, that the ladies of Ireland should know about, that the first prize is £2,000, second prize is £1,000, and third prize £500 to £250, and everybody gets €200 each as well for coming here at the National Ploughing.
Excellent. And what makes brown bread a winner?
As regards, it's for appearance, texture, and to also for eatable. I kind of look at brown bread. Brown bread is so much used on finger food with salmon, with everything else that you can put on ham or everything like that. Brown bread is so much used, and I think it's greatly coming back into Ireland again. It's lovely to see that cooking is coming back into our national schools again. So I'm delighted over that. Excellent. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Eileen. Mind yourself. So if we move over here, we'll see this lovely bike and a lovely man called Marty Mannering.
How are you? Great, I'm doing great.
So tell me about your High Nelly bike.
Well, the High Nelly bike is 120 years of Irish tradition. I've been here at the Ploughing Championships. This is my 13th year here, but this year I haven't come here with products produced by other people under the High Nelly name. This time it's a High Nelly bicycle produced, built in Ireland to take on the world.
Oh my God. You were on Dragon's Den, you were there twice, you got money. This is going worldwide.
This is actually now worldwide. We already have a dealership in Atlanta in Georgia, America, and we're already in talks for a New York outlet as well. But this bike is just It's a handcrafted piece of Irish culture that is built to the highest of standards, and it's purposely that. It's not a cheap product, but we're there. We're not trying to compete with the mass production bicycle market. We're here to do what Ireland does well. Handcrafted excellence, that's what it is.
And how much would this set you back now?
This particular model would set you back around about €1,500. But the important thing is to remember, everything on this, every bit of componentry on this bike is actually world class. Even the decals on this are 9-carat gold leaf. And every bike that we've built so far has been individually custom made, bespoke for every customer we've got, including one of them that went to the White House. Peter Casey, the Dragon, has one personally monogrammed for himself. That's where we're going with this. And most recently, we've actually now been accepted onto the Department of Foreign Affairs list as a gift. So I fully expect Prince William to be riding one of these in years to come.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, well, thanks a million and enjoy the rest of the ploughing.
It's great fun.
Mind yourself. Okay, so people have been coming to the ploughing from all around the country. I think we have a gang here. You're from Cork?
Yeah.
So what time did you leave at this morning?
About 6:15 this morning.
How was the traffic?
It wasn't too bad until we got close to the plough match itself. But we're doing about an hour and 20.
About an hour and 20.
To get in. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, I suppose.
Yeah, and so why come up all the way to the championships?
Well, we're farming. We live in a farming community in Knockgraha, so we've always had an interest in it. So it was a day off as well for ourselves.
And they all know you're off work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're legit.
Your boss knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. What's your name?
Stephen.
And where are you from?
Mayo.
And so when did you come up?
Came up on Monday.
Monday.
For 3 days.
Excellent. And what do you like about it?
Going to the plough field, watching all the old tractors plough, how it was done.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, enjoy the rest of today and tomorrow and enjoy yourselves. So if we move over here, entertainment plays a big part to this whole championships, and we have Kathleen and Tommy from the duets, and they're going to sing us out.
For many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. There's a song this side of the weary, and hard times come again no more. For many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
You're very welcome back to the programme. Well, now it is the last day of the Ploughing Championships. It's been more popular than ever this year, setting a new attendance record. And now we're going over to our agriculture and environment correspondent, George Lee.
Well, Keelan, welcome to the third and final day of the National Ploughing Competition, and it has been a really successful event so far. 124,500 people here yesterday. We've never seen the likes of it. There is a huge amount of interest in relation to what's going on here, in relation to the farm business and in relation to machinery. It's all new, all the machinery, it's all attractive, but in very many cases it can be very dangerous. And I'm joined here now by Pat Griffin, who is from the Health and Safety Authority. He's the Senior Agricultural Inspector. Pat, machinery, farm business, it is a dangerous business, and it hasn't been a good year.
Yeah, it can be a very dangerous business, and this year has been particularly bad. We have now gone to 22 deaths in farming in this year, where we had only 16 last year. It's something that people need to focus on, and we're trying to focus on it here in the Farm Safety Village. The Health and Safety Authority has been joined by the Farm Safety Partnership members, and we're demonstrating a lot of the risks that are on farms here on a Farm Safety Village.
Well, Pat, what kind of things are you warning people about? What are typically would you say they really need to watch?
Well, we have demonstrations here, George, and one of the main...
You've one over here?
One over here. We've got a straw man. We've used this demonstration for a number of years, and it shows the risks with a PTO shaft and how people working at the back of a tractor, when the PTO shaft isn't properly guarded, yeah, and people work too close to it, they can get huge injuries. We've got Peter Gorty here. He's an amputee who lost a leg, nearly lost 2 legs on this. And when people work too close to a drive shaft that's not guarded, they can get pulled in
like this,
and lose their lives or lose limbs. And it's one of the main risks on farms that people are getting caught in every year, year in, year out.
Okay.
The other risks we have on farms, I'm afraid that this man is going to remain safe. Another risk we have on farms here is the quad bike, and the quad bike has been the subject of a number of fatalities over the last few years, and we're trying to impress on farmers that you really need to get training on how to use these quad bikes. They're not that easy to ride, and you can see with this demonstration he is moving his body weight around the bike. He goes to the side to keep the centre of gravity there. When he comes back, he'll sit forward in the quad bike, and then he'll sit back to make sure that he keeps his centre balance in the centre.
And what else? You have another one here?
Yes, another one here. We've got a tractor, and the tractor has been causing probably half the fatal accidents on farms. And it's when people are working in close quarters to tractors, using machinery, moving round bales, they're being crushed against walls, are trapped between things. And you know, if a bale of this size falls off a trailer or on top of someone, the results are fatal, and a number of people have been killed this year and last year working too close to tractors.
Oh my God, well Pat, that looks pretty scary. Is the message getting through to farmers about how dangerous their workplace is?
Well, farmers are very positive in relation to farm safety, and they've been coming to our stand in huge numbers, and when we do these demonstrations they stay for a half an hour, maybe an hour watching this, and we are holding the crowd, and they are taking a lot of leaflets from our stand. The problem we find is when farmers go home to their farm and they've good ideas about farm safety, they often don't put it into practice. They're creatures of habit, and we want them to go home and put those into place.
Now there's a launch of a video?
Yes, we've launched a video here called What's Left Behind. It was the fatal accident to Derek Hogan.
And people can see that on they can get it through your webpage?
They can see it online on our website. Yeah.
Okay, well, Pat Griffin of the HSA, thank you very much. I'm joined also here now by Neil Garvey of Weinton and Tiro. Neil, obviously the whole issue of accidents in the dangerous workplace, that's a big issue in the rural community, but there are other issues too.
That's right, George. We're here today to talk about two key issues that we see in our communities around the country. The first is the issue of isolation and ultimately suicide, which is hitting communities all over the country, and we're getting active in promoting positive mental health with that, and we're launching a weekend with Console, the national suicide charity, at the end of October to raise awareness of that, an active community weekend where all of our communities are going to get out, get active and promote positive mental health.
And the other issue, crime.
The other issue is crime, and this, I suppose, is more of a good news story, if crime can be. We've been operating the Community Alert Programme in conjunction with the Gardaí for almost 30 years now. We're here with them today to commemorate the first year of the text alert system, which involves using texting technology to reduce crime and suspicious activity in local communities. It's working very well, so we're looking forward to doing that with them today.
Well, thank you very much, Neil. And Kieran O'Dowd, you represent young farmers. Now, it's a dangerous business. It can be a lonely business as well, as we just heard from in terms of the rural community, but it's still an exciting business.
Yes, it sure is, George, and I suppose for dairy farmers particularly it's going to be exciting with the era of post-quota, the abolition of the quota next year, but also for the beef and suckler farmers we think that there's going to be a viable future for them down the line. But from our point of view, we think that safety is paramount, because in order for young farmers to become older farmers, they have to farm safely from the start. And I think it's more, there's a bigger chance of changing behaviours at an early stage when people are in the agricultural colleges doing their education, that it's included in any education they're doing, as well as grassland management, animal husbandry, if there's some element on safety. And even our own farm skills competition, which we run every year, the final is held at the Tullamore Show. We try and get fences and tractor driving skills done in a quick and efficient manner, but safety is the paramount consideration. And if you fall down on the safety, for example, jumping from the top rung of a tractor, you'll fail, you won't get through. So we try and indoctrinate in our members at an early stage. But still, the times ahead are exciting for young farmers, and we want more. There's a lot of them in the agricultural colleges, and as you were talking to Neil there about the lonely isolation of being a farmer, we try and encourage collaborative arrangements, partnerships between farmers, particularly older farmers that no longer are in the same physical condition to carry out work. If they can team up with a young farmer that needs access to land, because access to land is one of the key considerations that we need at the moment and what we're trying to push for. And in fairness to Minister Coveney, he's doing a lot in that regard and helping us out.
Well, Kieran O'Dowd, Macron and Ferma, thank you very much. Thank you to Neil and also thank you to Pat. And Keelan, that's more or less it here from the National Ploughing Championships from me. It is the final day. It is the biggest event ever. The Taoiseach is going to be here today, so there'll be a lot of interest in relation to him touring around the ploughing area. The final of the bread baking competition, the brown bread baking, that's a big event here today. And of course the final of who's going to win in that ploughing competition. Lots more to come, and it's going to be a great day ahead. The weather's a little bit grayer than yesterday, but still the humours are up. Back to you, Keelan.